This video covers union status and fertility.
Let's start by examining union.
Question 6.1 to 6.5 should be completed for persons 15 years and over. These questions indicate the type of family associations or relationships in which men and women are involved.
Please note that union status should not be confused with legal marital status. Union status refers to the actual relationship in which a man or woman is involved. For the purposes of the census, unions related to intimate sexual relations.
Therefore, a man or woman can be involved in any of the following. 1. He or she could be legally married and living with the person to whom he or she is married. 2. He or she could be living together with a partner to whom he or she is not legally married. This is referred to as living in a common law. And 3. He or she could be in a visiting intimate relationship.
You should never assume that an individual who is married is in a current union. These questions must therefore be asked of all men and women who are 15 years or older.
Ask this question only of persons who are classified as married. Questions 1.7. If yes, go to question 6.5. This question will only be shown on the tablet if question 1.7 was scored as married.
This question is to be asked of all persons 15 years and older who are not married as determined at question 6.1. Recall that a common law relationship describes a situation where the partners share a common household. That is, they live together and are in an intimate sexual relationship. Though the union has not been established by legal process or religious ceremony.
This question is to be asked of persons who indicate that they are living with someone as a common law partner. Check with response to the question 1.4, relationship to household reference person, which should not be husband or wife in this case.
This question is to be asked of persons who indicate that they are not living with someone as a common law partner. This is to establish those persons who are in a visiting intimate relationship. If their response is no, then skip to question 7.1.
A visiting intimate relationship refers to a situation in which the partners live apart and have sexual relations. They may have children together, and there are some financial obligations, such as contributions to household expenses, due to the sensitivity of the previous question. Census takers must be very tactful when asking it.
This question relates to the current union. It applies to all men, women who live with their husband, wives, common law partner, or those in visiting relationships. If the duration of the union is less than a year, select the option less than a year. Questions 7.1 to 7.10 are to be completed for females 12 to 49 years only. The questions are of a very personal nature, and you must assure the respondent that this type of information will be kept confidential. This information is crucial to population planning as they provide very useful indicators of population growth.
Be mindful of sensitive nature of the questions, especially when enumerating young women under the age of 18 years. You must assure the parents and youth how important these questions are for planning purposes. And they must be asked of all women of reproductive age.
Remember, you must receive approval from the parents to interview the child in private. Interviewers should also observe the environment and record any additional information that may assist with accurately completing the questionnaires. For example, if the child looked uncomfortable in the presence of the adult or any other behaviors worth noting.
These questions are related to the number of live-born children a woman has had. A live birth is the product of a pregnancy that shows some form of life after expulsion, even if it dies a few minutes after. Some women might tend to exclude children who are born alive but subsequently died. These children are not to be excluded from the count. Enter the total as well as the number of male and female births.
Enter the number of male and female children still living. Enter the total in the relevant box. The number here should either be the same or less than that at question 7.2. It may be easier for the respondent to recall the children who have died. If this is so, then take that information and make the necessary subtractions. Remember, asking persons about children who have died is a sensitive question. Remember to always confirm the correct number of children.
This refers to the number of live-born children who currently live in the household. Note, the children can be of any age.
Score the age of the mother at birth of first child. Some women might have problems remembering, but you must make an effort to get an estimate. This estimation could be based on the date of birth of the mother and the date of birth or age of the first child.
Score the age and use the same strategies adopted for question 7.5. For this question, as well as question 7.5, there is always a possibility of recall lapses.
Whereas questions 7.1 to 7.6 relate to all live-born children the woman has had in her life. Questions 7.7 to 7.10 refers to live births and infant deaths in the months preceding the 2022 census.
You need to pay close attention to the answers given for questions 7.1 through to 7.6 before asking questions 7.7. If she has had live-born children, you need to be mindful, in particular, of the answer to question 7.6, which asks for the age of the mother at the birth of the last child. Based on this answer, you might be able to tell if there was a birth during the period. Even so, you must ask question 7.7 as a check on 7.6.
Type the number of live births in the space provided and the number of males and females. It is important to note that a woman can have more than one delivery in the same 12-month period. The occurrence of this, however, is very low. Indicate the sex of each child born and insert the date of birth. Remember, you must account for the number of children recorded in the total box. For the copy, a calendar will be provided for you to select the day, month, and the year.
These questions relate to the live births reported at question 7.8 and establish if any of these babies have died. If none of the children died, score no at question 7.9 and go to section 8. If one or more died, tick yes and go to question 7.10. At question 7.10, type in the number of male and female deaths and then enter in the total. Record the sex and date of death for each child who died, using 1 or 2 digits for the month and 4 digits for the year.
Remember, you count, me count, all we count.